Wait. Before you buy that chair off Amazon or the TikTok shop, please watch this video. I promise it'll change your life. Or at least change what chair you end up buying. If you're like me, most of the time that you spend either at work or at home is sitting down in front of a computer. And there are thousands of chair designs out there, but only a handful of those are really going to be the best thing for your body as you're plopped down on it for 10 to 12 or more hours a day. You've all seen ads for fancy gaming chairs with deluxe leather designs, or maybe a fluffy cloud chair that lets you sit cross-legged and advertises itself as the coziest thing in existence. Some chairs just decide to prioritize aesthetics over others, or maybe seat comfort or leg stretch. But for me, it's all about ergonomics. Ergonomics is defined as the science of designing workplaces, tools, and tasks to fit the worker, aiming to reduce discomfort, fatigue, and injuries. As a doctor, these are all great things that I would like to prioritize, both for my patients and myself. Your workstation or battle station deserves to be optimized for you, and with the amount of time you spend at a desk, preventing repetitive strains or awkward postures helps you be more productive, whether you're clicking patient charts or heads. So let's take your average ergonomic chair and break it down by the benefits. Then we'll be talking about each system and a work-related musculoskeletal injury that you can fight off with the power of proper posture. Now, think about the kind of chair that goes behind a desk, and think about the one that's sitting outside on your kitchen table. Imagine what they look like, or what they can do. Different, right? They're designed to serve two different purposes. One's there to keep you upright for the time it takes you to eat a meal, versus the other that's there to support your body all day, or all night. In addition to basic functions like providing seat and back tilt, a good office chair designed for prolonged use will usually be able to do the following tasks. 1. Adjust the seat height. 2. Adjust the seat cushion depth. 3. Adjust the armrest height and width. 4. Have an adjustable lumbar support. And 5. Have an adjustable headrest. Depending on the price level, office chairs may be able to do some of these things, all of them, or even more than what's listed here. Generally, around $150 is where I start to see more of these features come into play. Around here is where you'll find budget chairs from places like Staples or your average furniture company aimed at marketing an office chair. $500 to $1,000 is where you'll start to find the mid-range, with entry-level chairs from companies like Steelcase or Hayworth that can do most of the above. At the upper end of that price bracket are chairs like the Steelcase Leap V2 or the Hayworth Fern, which are great starter options for people who are looking to take their posture health more seriously. $1,000 to $1,500 is where you're really going to get the premium in the ergonomic world, and we're going to drop some big names here, like the Herman Miller M-Body, or Aran Chair, or the Noel Newson or Generation. Personally, while recording this right now, I'm sitting on a Herman Miller sale, which retails for about $1,000 new, but I was actually able to buy it for $500 lightly used by going to an office furniture warehouse about an hour away from my place. These are places that buy up office furniture in bulk from closing businesses or startups and refurbish them for individual consumers. It's a great way to get some high quality stuff for a more affordable price, so I recommend looking around to see if you have one in your area. By the way, there's a Logitech Gaming x Herman Miller collab M-Body in some cool colors, and that baby is my full build endgame dream chair. And it starts at $2,000. Hey, anyway, this video isn't sponsored, but deep saiken lore is that Papa Ken works for Herman Miller, so I've been red-pilled on ergonomics since I was in elementary school, and we have like 3 Aran chairs at my parents' house, and they have an Eames in their master bedroom. And so, adjustable height, seat depths, armrest, lumbar, and headrest. Why is it so important that a chair can do all of these things? Well, to answer that question, let's take a look at the proper, ideal ergonomic posture for a workstation. There are a bunch of diagrams, books, and studies out there written by physical therapists or physiatrists with much more experience than me as an internal medicine doctor. But some of the key elements of this are sitting up straight with 1. Monitor at eye level, 2. Shoulders relaxed and back, 3. Arms bent 90 degrees with wrists in line with the forearm, 4. Hips as far back in the seat with the back touching the backrest, and 5. Feet flat on the floor with knees in line and slightly below the hips. Think back to your kitchen chair. Imagine sitting in a one-size-fits-all lump of wood like that and having to work with your keyboard and monitor. You wouldn't be able to hit the ideal position unless you were built a certain way or had a certain height. Maybe your arms are too long and your elbows dig into the armrests, putting that burden on your shoulders. Or maybe your feet don't even touch the floor, putting the strain on your thighs. It might not be as aesthetically pleasing as the elegant tables found at your nearest Michelin star restaurant, but the power of the great office chairs in the world is that they allow anyone to make the adjustments that they need in order to benefit from proper ergonomic posture. Let's go through each system and see what the ergonomic position is doing for you. For the head and neck, the goal here is to prevent cervical spine injury, or the dreaded tech neck. Proper ergonomic posture minimizes the risk of developing conditions like cervical kyphosis or degenerative joint disease. You want to reduce mechanical loading on the cervical spine and minimize sustained muscle activation that can lead to tissue stress and accelerated degeneration. This can be accomplished by keeping the top of your monitor at eye level to prevent your head from slouching forward. The burden of the weight of your head when flexing your neck is about 12 pounds at 0 degrees, 27 pounds at 15 degrees, and 40 pounds at 30 degrees. When you add forward head translation onto that gravitational load, compression forces increase 2 times throughout the cervical spine, and anterior shear forces increase 4 times in the upper cervical spine when compared to natural alignment. If your chair has a headrest, you should adjust it to keep your neck supported in this position, gently leaned back a few degrees rather than just at a flat 90. A good headrest can cradle the neck in its natural curvature, not just act as a backstop for the head. For people using second or third monitors, you should keep them angled off to the sides, as close to your natural viewing angle as possible. For prolonged work on multiple monitors, you want to get comfortable with rotating your chair rather than your neck. Overall, by maintaining proper ergonomic alignment, the neck experiences more balanced loading patterns that distribute forces across multiple structures rather than concentrating stress on specific cervical joints or discs. In contrast to the convex primary curvature of your thoracic spine, the cervical and lumbar spines are naturally concave. These are called the secondary curvatures, and just as important to keep preserved in proper posture. For the back, the goal here is to preserve the natural curvature of the lumbar spine and avoid posterior pelvic sag. Proper ergonomic posture minimizes the risk of developing conditions like lumbar muscle sprains or disc herniation. Just like with the neck, you want to minimize mechanical loading on the spine and muscle strain as much as possible. Your spine is made up of individual vertebrae that are interspaced with vertebral discs. Prolonged sitting in flexed or slouched postures significantly increases disc stress and the risk of disc herniation, which is when they can pop out and pinch different nerves. Start by sitting up straight and letting your back naturally sink backwards into the curve of the chair. You're not going to be at a perfect 90-degree angle all the time, nor do you have to be. Allowing your back to preserve its natural curvature while comfortably sitting at 95 degrees is more than enough. Focusing on the lumbar region, a good ergonomic chair will have built-in lumbar support that interfaces directly with the chair. In general, these are better options than standalone lumbar support pillows or cushions, which can sag often and fall into the wrong position. The ideal lumbar support should be adjusted both in position and tension so that it can adequately support the pelvis at the belt level when sitting down. If you have an external cushion supporting you instead, make it a habit to reposition it for this landmark each time you sit down. For the upper extremities, the goal here is to prevent shoulder injury or wrist complications. Proper ergonomic posture minimizes the risk of developing conditions like rotator cuff impingement or worsening carpal tunnel. You want to reduce unnecessary scapular abduction and elevation, as well as wrist flexion. While sitting up straight, your forearms should rest at desk height so that the elbows are at 90 degrees shoulder width apart. Your armrests should be high enough to catch your elbows in this position, while low enough to fit the chair under the desk for position as needed. To accomplish both of these, a good ergonomic chair will not only allow you to adjust the armrest height, but width as well. Place your mouse and keyboard at a distance that keeps your elbows beside the body. Otherwise, keeping your elbows squeezed in tenses muscles in the shoulders and brings the head forward. For the wrists, carpal tunnel syndrome occurs when wrist synovium fibrosis and thickening lead to median nerve compression in the hand. This causes microvascular insufficiency, ischemic damage to the nerve, and the telltale signs of pain or tingling in the median nerve distribution of the hand as the nerve is impinged. Repetitive wrist activity or extreme wrist positions are known risk factors for the development of carpal tunnel, but sometimes, depending on lifestyle, the former is just plain unavoidable. Studies have shown that for symptomatic keyboard users, ergonomic education addressing typing techniques, keyboard height, and proper seating resulted in improvement in 89% of patients observed. Ergonomic position will help you keep your wrists straight to avoid exacerbating the symptoms of carpal tunnel syndrome. Depending on your typing position or mouse grip, you may also benefit from using a wrist rest, though it's important that you're using them properly, as they really should support the palm at the heel of the hand more than right on the wrist itself. For the lower extremities, the goal here is to prevent hip misalignment or leg strain. Proper ergonomic posture minimizes the risk of developing conditions like hip flexor tightness or bursitis by reducing sustained hip flexion angles and static loading on hip structures during prolonged sitting. Hip alignment during seated work can offload a lot of unneeded stress on the hip flexors and periarticular structures where your joint bursa are located. You want to keep your thighs supported at all times, which is a common pitfall where an extra seat cushion can be actively detrimental to ergonomic positioning. You also want to keep the back of the knees off the seat, so if possible, adjust the seat depth on an ergonomic chair to give yourself a 2 to 3 finger gap between the edge and the back of the knees. Your knees should be naturally bent at 90 degrees, with your heels touching the ground so that your weight is evenly distributed across your entire frame. If you can't accomplish this naturally with the rest of your ergonomic positioning aligned, consider investing in a footrest to support the extra gap between your feet and the floor. And if you're still attempting to do all of these things, but you find that your body still can't make it work with your current setup, it might be time to make some other non-chair adjustments. Consider propping up your monitor on some old books, or getting monitor arms for more freedom of movement around height and depth. You may even need to invest in a shorter desk or look into a motorized standing desk. For my fellow short kings, I use a standing desk that I adjusted down to 24 inches, which is the perfect height for me at 5'7". Having the ability to change from working sitting to standing is also pretty great to switch things up and keep my body active. Even if you don't have one of those, it's still worth setting a reminder to get up and stretch about every hour. Not only is it good for your joints, but it'll also give you an opportunity to reset and catch yourself if your ergonomic position is slacking. Studies have shown that the ability to have postural variability, like with a standing desk or get up and stretch alarms, significantly reduce musculoskeletal discomfort compared to those who remain seated continuously. Alright, I know that was a lot, and you know what? For sticking to the end, I have a reward for you. Next time you go to the emergency room, tell them I sent ya. Not like in a bad way. Not like I put you in the hospital. Don't tell them that. Tell them. Oh, never mind.